Yes, I'm live now. So today we have quite a few interesting things that I want to share regarding this workflow from Blender. Blender is a very complete sort of platform with a lot of modeling options. It's a free software, but it's actually extremely powerful. As you can see, there are various like workflow right here that are called tabs. Like for example, if you are doing animation, which maybe is our focus for today, animation, then we'll have an animation kind of layout just for it. So what we did was with Blender this time is we actually import Google Earth into Blender through a plugin called RenderDot, and then we are going to do some animation and videos with the projects. So today we're just focusing on the animation aspect of it, which when after you open up Blender, so let's say in the modeling view it will be this. Blender have a very interesting and fast rendering system that once you are inside it, you can actually adjust the material very fast. Yeah. So let's take stuff away from the scene for now. Let's start with empty scene. So there's an empty scene here. What I did was I press A, or I can select like this, select everything. You notice that there is this thing here. Okay, shucks. Really fine adjustment right there. That all this stuff are called like windows. These are called windows. So each of this window is a particular like function that is available in Blender. So for example, now we are in the modeling tab, which have like all these are the scene collection. So collection is like layers. So for example, I press A, you realize that I select everything in this collection or anything that's inside this scene. I press D, I delete everything. Let's start afresh lah. I mean, it's good to start afresh. There's a mesh, add a plane. Yeah, so you have a plane right here. Press S, you can scale this plane much bigger. And there are various like type of view here, like this are wireframe, and then this is plane with shading, then this is the render mode. So let's add a bit more stuff before we go into the render mode. Add another object, mesh, cube. Yep. And let's say you want to move around, you can press G and then press the middle button, and then it's just you can move according to which direction it is. I mean, pressing the middle button, you can push. Let's say put here, push S for scaling, and then press the middle button again. It will scale in different direction. So in this case, I want to scale in this axis. Blender have a lot of shortcuts. So one of the first thing that I learned is that the number tab is very important for the shortcut. So now I'm pressing the number tab. Number pad is the one on the right side of your keyboard, and it's different from the shortcut that is on top of 1, 2, 3. So number pad 1, that's the side wheel. So I move this tower higher, and then I press 5. Like there's the toggle between isometric and perspective. Yeah, so I stick with perspective. And then you can add in object like light and camera. Let's add in a camera. Yep, there's a camera. Push it here. Yep, push it higher. So with this camera, if I press 0, I mean, you must press on this camera, select this camera. Selection is done by here, so that various selection move. Select this one, and then press 0. Then we will look at the view. This small highlighted rectangle. So that's what the camera is. So let's say you render a picture that will be exactly inside this picture, inside this picture frame. Yep. So that's looking at here. And when you are adjusting, let's say this camera, you want to adjust the parameter in camera. There is two ways to do it. There's this thing. So this is lock camera to view, which is very useful. So under here, you can press N to hide this tab here, or you can just try to tap on this very small button here, and there's lock camera to view. So the lock camera to view, I show you, press 0. If you didn't press lock camera to view, once you rotate around, you will no longer be in that view. But you tap that, you'll be inside that view, and then when you rotate around, it will still inside this thing. So let's say I want a wider sort of thing. I will zoom in and then I lock this view here, so I get a more holistic way of looking into what's happening. So that's extremely useful when I want to navigate around. So let's now come out from the camera, press 0 again, come out from the camera. Let's go to add a light. There's a light here, point, sun and spot. So let's put a point first, move it up. You'll notice there's no effect here for now because we are not in the render mode. How come the render mode is like this? Oh my gosh! Is it because my lamp is not bright enough? Oh yeah, it is. So let's put it to 2000 watt. It's a light gradual, nice gradual lighting. So with this lighting, we add object, right? You add this lighting object, you can push it around, put a position. You can adjust the lighting color, like different lighting color, right? And that's how it looks. So let's say this is a building and we wanted to add a skyline, like the atmosphere to it. There's a few ways to do it. So as I mentioned just now, this stuff are called windows. These are windows. Let's adjust one of these window to material shading, called shader editor, and drag it down. Shader editor. Okay. So in the shader editor, let me hide this. Press N and hide this thing. Shader. So now we have a very clear view. As this is the scene collection. This is the object, like shading. Shading is the material. There's object, world, and line type. Go to world. So that's basically the atmosphere that is getting. For example, now I want to put a color to it. Let's try. In this shader, you press Shift A, search for RGB. Good color. Okay. So that means the sky is actually one color. It looks really dumb. So let's delete that. Let's try to put a texture. Shift A. Texture. Is it world texture or something? Or environmental texture? So anything that is world is basically the whole environment, and that is the world output. So it's quite interesting. It's a bit like parametric. So when you plug it in, we have a more like stuff like that. Let me see whether I have an image on my desktop. Oh yeah, I have. Open this image. So I will get the environment very quick. So that's one way to do it. Get this environment map. Let's start with this first. We'll adjust this sky later with another method. This is quite interesting, right? With this environment going in. Further, we should now do the object editing. So go to this material, right? Currently you can see that it's not reflecting the sky and stuff like that. I believe it's because of this roughness here. Yeah, you can see I'm now adjusting, like when you click on this thing and then you make sure this object, and then you can actually select the material in the scene. So let's say you want a new material, add new, yeah, for this bottom one. You can add a base color. Let's put this to green, for example. Metallic. Oh, sorry, metallic. Where's my mouse? Shucks. Oh, it's jammed for some reason. Okay, so roughness, and there's a lot of way to adjust this thing. We'll go into this in a separate issue, but the whole thing is that you now have material editing. You can put in the sky and stuff like that, right? So I really cannot do with this sky lah. I think this sky looks not really good because we don't have a very good sight here. But what we can do is that there's a plugin called Dynamic Sky. To install plugin, go to Edit Preferences, and then here there's an add-on here, and then search for sky. Is it there? Yes, lighting dynamic sky. Yeah. So this thing. Once you click that, and I mean after you click this one in it and then install it, you have this thing here, which is here. Under here there's a create, there's a dynamic sky here, see? So you create this dynamic sky. Let's delete this stuff. Okay, let me see how to do this. Oh, so in the world you can choose whether it's dynamic sky or that one. So choose dynamic sky. So that's the sky that is coming out. You can view this dynamic sky by going here, view all. So basically, actually, it's a texture that some genius have edited. You can do this on your own, but I mean, other people have spent the time to do a relatively good sky. So it's very useful if you just use what they have. But ultimately, it's actually just this raw output, and then they just put it in. Oh, it's good. So let's add in a few more interesting stuff into the scene. Let's check this. There's a button that you can look at the scenes better called Control and Spacebar, which is this one. You'll see the bigger scene of the whole scene. So it's very good for modeling. When you're doing modeling, it's good for doing that. Okay, let's press Control and Spacebar again to go back to here. Check this thing back. Well, let's go into the editing mode. This is object mode. Shading mode. Tab. So once you go back here, you can go to editing mode. We'll go through a bit of editing. So on this corner, when is this is a 3D viewport. Under here there's edit mode, object mode. Object mode basically like you just click, like moving object, you use this. But let's say I want like to edit this thing here, I will need to go to this edit mode. And then you can actually now select, this is point, line and face. For example, point, I will press this, and then I can actually move this point around. Yeah, move this point around. Line is basically, as you say, is line. right? Line, twisting tower, right? Cool. And then there's faces. So let's say we want to subdivide these surfaces. You can select shift and click, and then you can right click, subdivide, and then here there will be this thing, press 20. Yeah, so we will have all those stuff here. I mean, I'm still not very good at it, but basically you can actually click this one. There's a lot of editing stuff to it. You can extrude, press E for extrude. When you press tab, you can see there's this stuff here. So these are the tools for very quick mesh editing. I think it's really fun. Yeah, for this. Or let me try whether I can select a bunch of them and do like this thing. Oh, cannot. I think I can do on local. See whether that works here. Individual origin. Wow. Still learning this, but these are basically different ways of, like this is global and local. I actually wanted to try to create windows for each of them. I'll learn that in a moment. Like you see, this one I will create this. It's up here. You press E for extrude, and then you can press Z for upper direction, different direction. Let me show from here. Click on this. Press E for extrusion, and then there are, let's say Y. Press Y for Y direction, Z for Z direction. So different direction. It's very quick. I think it's the mesh editing is very fast, and the tools. There's really a lot of tools. I mean, people used to draw animation with this tool. So for architecture, it may not be the best, but it's very interesting if you do complex geometry or organic geometry. So, and there are a lot of shapes here. There's a monkey here. Let me try to see if I should do. Okay, get out of here, go to collection, add mesh monkey. Okay, so there's some monkey faces here. You can see some monkey faces. You can add a material to it. Let me add a material to it. Meaning go here and then go to object and then look at, let's add a new material for it. Press home key to zoom. Okay, I have a red monkey. I have a red monkey and a red shiny monkey. Yeah, with less roughness. And if you want to edit this, just press tab, and then you can actually say adjust the eye. I mean, the adjusting, there's a lot of tools. There's I mean, Blender actually make a difference between modeling. Modeling is much more like Rhino. I mean, it's more logical. And there's sculpting. Sculpting is, what they do is that, let's say I want to do a landscape, I will use sculpting, or I want to do some really, it's like 3D PS, 3D Photoshop. So let me show you how you do that. Let's go into plane. And first of the thing we want to do is we adjust this, make this mesh to a dino mesh. I think, let me check where is the dino mesh. Oh, it's very complex. Oh, where is it? Whoa, I don't seem to find it. Oh, before you can use sculpting, you must transfer this mesh to a different thing altogether, which is called dino mesh. Let me see whether I adjust that. Remesh. Oh shucks, I can't find it. Let me see whether it's because I haven't gone into here. Oh my gosh. Add object constraint. Let me try whether it works here. No, it doesn't. What if I just do the sculpting on it? Okay, let's skip that part first. I actually can't remember how to transfer this mesh. Okay, but actually meshing is a bit like set brush. I think set brush have more option, but I think it's a bit like set brush. Okay. Anyhow, the next thing I wanted to show is the adding camera. So go back to modeling. Did I add a camera just now? Oh yeah, there's a camera right here. The camera is here. Let's press 0 to look at where the camera look at. Okay. So that's the camera view. And want to touch a bit of animation. So when you go to animation, I think what's useful for me is that on the left side, there's two viewport here, right? There's two viewport here. I normally use this for the camera view, use this for the camera view, and use this for the modeling view. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So press 0 when you're inside here. Press 0 again, and then press N. Just go to view and lock camera to view. Yep. Press N again. So what happens is that this is locked to that. This is the animation bar. So let's do a very simple and let's move the light. So go to the collection here. There's a point light here. Let's can I move this here? Let's go to modeling and move this thing. Move this geometry around. Go to object mode. Move this geometry around. Okay, press I. Okay, let me show again. It's a bit fast just now. Okay, after you select the point, and then in this scene, press I. And then it'll ask you, I is the insert keyframe. It will ask you what kind of animation you want. So the most simple is location. It's easy to understand. So in this keyframe, please put the location. You see, X, Y, Z is highlighted. So because it's a point, you see, it doesn't have rotation. Well, it doesn't really care about scale and stuff like that. I just care about the location. So I just put location, and immediately in this frame in this animation will show this. Okay, so I added one keyframe here. Let's go into 40 frame and add another keyframe where this light is somewhere else. So to make it somewhere else, you need to go back here, and let's say I move this here. Go back to animation and press I again. Location. So with this, you can see that it's actually going from here to here point, right? As I have from point 0 is at this point, and then point 40, the light actually move across. Yep. I think the effect is not looking very good because the skylight is a bit strong. Yep, the environment skylight is a bit strong. So let's go into dynamic skylight. Let's go to let's go to setting. Let's see. I want to add the strength to 0.2 is enough, so it's darker. So now this light, it will be better. Okay, when you want to see the animation, you need to press on that object, either from the scene or from this thing. So this is how the light is moving, you see, from this corner, move to that corner. Let's say you want to adjust this one, you can just take it and move it around. So yep. Okay, it's taking a bit of time because it's rendering, but I think I can show in the shader mode. It will be much faster. Oh, the lighting should move of course, but not much impact on the shader mode. Okay, next thing I wanted to do is I want to do an animation of the camera also. So I wanted to move the camera from one point to another. To do that, I press the camera, and you realize that when I press the camera, here's empty again. So what happens is, like, go to this scene, press I, and then for this case is the show location and rotation, because I'm going to rotate the camera as I move around. And then you go, and then okay, again. Hey, how come it's not? Okay, let me go here, press I again. Okay, it's here now. Then go to the next position at 90. Let's go here. Okay. Go here. Go to camera again. Huh? What if? Wait, where's my camera? Okay, let me try again. Go to this point, go to 0. This is where I want to start my animation. Camera wise, press I, location. Okay, go to here, 90. I want my camera. Oh, it sucks. What happened? Here I want to press again. Okay, let's see whether it works. Let's not do it. Let's do a shader mode. Hey, how come the camera is not moving? Okay, let's delete this point again. I don't know why is it animating the plane. Delete this keyframe. Delete this keyframe. Go to the camera. I did at one point here already. Go to here. At another point. Okay. Delete this. I thought there's rotation inside here. Let me see. Okay, try again. Press I. Oh god, shucks. It's very troublesome. Press camera. And then in this scene, go, press camera, press I. I want location and rotation. And then go to 90 seconds. Press here. Press I again. Okay, we have that. And what is useful is that you can see that both the sun and the light is moving across. You see? This is the sun, and that's the camera. They both moving across, and this is the effect that we get. Alright. So with an animation, we can actually do a bit of render. Normally what we do is we go to here, render, and render image. Render image is one image. Like animation basically is what is in the scene. So press A and then you see the camera and this moving in the scene. Yeah, that will be a video, and that will be 120 frame. The exporting properties actually is here. There's this property and then this print output property, and then here there's dimension of your output. Basically that's your 120 pixel, and then the frame rates, right? And then output to where file format. You can go to this like AVI or this frame radios. So that would be a videos. So normally I would like to do one for this wheel, one for the ending wheel before we started the rendering to make sure it looks good. Quite take some time, you see. So press F12 or render. It will render the scene. Yep. It's taking a bit of time. Let's do a smaller one. Let's do a, is it in proportion? Okay, that's interesting. So we can do a quick one, I think, with this. Let's try. Yeah, it's much quicker one. So there's a quick rendering, and then you can go to this location, and do a render again. The location actually render like the camera that you selected. So let's say there are a few camera. When you render, you just make sure that's the camera that's clicking. So the render actually according to cameras. So let's say 2 or 3 camera flying around. Then before you do the animation, you need to click this, and then make sure it's in the animation, and then we'll do the animation. So to do animation, that's render animation. Control F12, and then we just render. I think Blender is extremely interesting tool. I mean, the functionality is like a integration of Rhino. It's actually Maya a bit. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, and the rendering property, there's this render property here. Oh yeah, to choose a render, you can actually, there's a few render machine inbuilt into Blender. I believe is somewhere here. Yeah, this is a render property. The cycles, the EV, different render machine. This is different ways of rendering, and then quality of it. Yeah, but I like cycles. I think it's good. So that's why I normally use. Well, it's a very brief outline of what I learned so far. I think it's